Dick Hank Productions presents the Beardown Corner with your host, Sergeant Cornholio. Yo, fam jam, this is Sergeant Cornholio. We are here for another edition of the Beardown Corner. We are going to get into it with some recap of the weekend's games from the playoffs. We have some follow-up. We got some previews for the upcoming weekend. And then we're going to get also with some around the league news, head coaches updates, and so forth. So sit down, strap in, let's get your popcorn and whatever else you need to eat or snack on or drink for that matter, and let's get into some football. So, right off the hopper, we'll just start right down the line. So, Los Angeles Chargers were in Houston at Reliance Stadium, where Joe Mixon and the rest of that band of misfits went in with the mindset, we are the division champs. We are the AFC South, and we will not go down quietly tonight. I honestly thought the Chargers were going to go in and sweep them out. Completely the opposite. Lab McConkey went for 9 catches for 197 yards and a touchdown. In the fact that you have Justin Herbert throwing 4 interceptions and I think it was like 250 yards or something like that. He had like 200 and some yards. And almost 200 of them go to one guy. No one else on the team had more than 3 catches other than McConkey, who had 9. You're not going to win a football game like that. They got stuffed on the ground. So here's the analysis. Okay, here's the analysis. Houston's defense, hell of a lot tougher than I think people gave them credit for. I wondered about them, but they're right there. D'Amico Ryans has these boys tuned in real good. So I think going forward, I would like to see them, pull off an upset, but we'll get into that later on in the preview matchups for the divisional round. But as for now, Nico Collins, what was he? 7 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown. So, CJ Stroud did the same thing, feed his main target the ball, but hey, they did what they had to. They scored a touchdown on offense through the air. They scored one on offense through the rush game. Joe Mixon had 106 yards on the ground on like 25 attempts. Like, it was a grinded out game. They came to just fight back as hard as possible because I think they knew they were labeled this weekend as they were going to get upset, but they weren't having it. So congratulations, Houston Texans fans, 32-12. You're moving on to the divisional round. Pittsburgh Steelers travel into Baltimore Ravens in a Saturday night showdown that had Russell Wilson throw for 2 touchdowns. But that Baltimore D showed up. They showed up big. They're trying to put the naysayers down too. So they're doing their thing on defense, offensively. Man, Derrick Henry, what a beast! 186 yards on the ground, not even a touchdown. Just running away, dude. I seen one play in the match where, I don't know, it must have been like 3 guys, it felt like. Or maybe it felt like the whole team. But, dude, it's like he just ran into the abyss and then just blew through like a Mack truck with these guys just dangling off of him as he takes off for 56 yards or whatever it was. It was like a 30-yard run, 50-yard run, something like that. It felt a lot longer than what it probably was. But he just made it look so good. So good. So they got the win, 28-14. Baltimore moves on. Now, that's going to set up a really interesting matchup because if you know your seedings, then you know that the Bills, who on Sunday came in as the number 2 seed, hosting Denver Broncos. Bo Nix, do you believe? Well, let me put it to you this way. They came out with a quick 7-0 lead and then got shot down from there. So Denver tried to give it their all. They really did. I'll give kudos to Denver. They had a hell of a season. Congratulations, Sean Payton. The future looks bright with Bo Nix. You still got the sky's the limit for Denver, but they lost 31-7. We're not even going to sugarcoat it. Josh Allen threw for 2 touchdowns. James Cook went off for 100-plus rush yards, ran in for a touchdown. The Bills are looking like the Bills that I personally thought they were gonna. Obviously, you know what? In the world of predictions in football, nothing is a guarantee. But I can tell you this. We sure go based off analysis and try to break it down as good as we can. So when I really truly believe the Chargers were going to win this weekend, which I shit the bed on that one, but just their format of play, it just makes you believe, right? But Houston wanted it more. DeMeco Ryans got his boys tuned in. Buffalo, no different. They came in. They knew they were number 2. They knew they were going to face a tough Denver defense. But what did Josh Allen and them boys do? No. You got a good defense. You do. But we're better. And we're going to show you why we're better. And they did just that. 31-7. Buffalo Bills over the Denver Broncos. In the NFC, we had some good matchups. So, Green Bay taking on Philadelphia in Philly. So, I'm a Bears fan. I had a smile on my face. I have Packers friends who are fans. It's a whole rivalry thing. But here, at the end of the day, I don't want to see my buddy freaking, go through the turmoil of what I remember in our last playoff appearance in 2017, because that's how long it's been since the Bears made playoffs. But to watch him, have to suffer that, it sucked for my friend. But I'm not going to lie, deep within, I was smiling the whole time because I'm a Bears fan. Come on, I'm a Bears fan. I can be a football fan. The future's bright in Green Bay. It is. It is. Just as it is in Chicago, as long as we can get the right head coach. Detroit, Minnesota, yeah, that 2 other stories. NFC North is looking strong. But I don't think that the Packers knew what they were coming. Philly's defense, dude. Ooh, from beginning of the year to now. The first, I think, 5 weeks or so, they were, looking kind of like a Tampa defense, give up a lot of yards. Offense has to bail you out. Not anymore. That's a strength of that team. Jalen Carter is blowing guys up at the line. You got the secondary playing at a high level now. There's something to... If Detroit has any, solid, we're going to go fist to fist with you, definitely the Eagles are one of them teams. But yeah, they just came out wanting more. Barkley, 126 on the ground, not much more to say there. The man literally within the game broke some tackles, broke for a run, was about to go scampering for a touchdown. But you know what he did? End the game. Slides, ends it, runs the clock out. Win, let's go. I seen the interview of when he was talking about it to the reporters. Man, I really like this guy. Why continue running, maybe get hit wrong, pull a hamstring, and then make it worse for my team to try and come back and win without me next week? Why would I do that? I'm going to slide. We're going to get the W, and we're going to go into the divisional round. That is a pro right there. That is thinking of your team. Saquon, I respect that, my man. Good work, Philly. Good work. They walk away with the win, 22-10. Now, don't let that score say it all, because Green Bay drove at the end, and it was, I think, a turnover on downs. Anyway, it could have been almost a really close one-score game. They were driving in the final, but it was an interception. That's what it was. Interception, end zone. Dude, he just I don't know. He got picked off 3 times. Philly's defense, again, they're good. And damn, like, I don't know what you do if you're a Green Bay fan. I guess from the NFL aspect that I would think of, go out and get yourself a wide receiver, man. See, like maybe a Devontae Adams reunion. Like, I don't know. I don't know who you go out and get. Tyreek Hill? But I don't see him wanting to play in the cold like that. He's too much of a diva. He'll come in and teach these young guys the wrong way in the way he's acted lately. For those of you who don't know, Tyreek Hill recently came out basically at the end of season 8 or week 18 in his interview, more or less saying, I want to be traded because we struggled this season. Get the fuck out of here. Get me a teammate who wants to play by my side. Not when times get tough, scours with his tail between his legs. But anyway, moving along, the night game, Sunday night, was Washington going into Tampa Bay. Raymond James Stadium. It was a hell of a game, actually. I hope all of you got a chance to watch it because it was a hell of a game. There wasn't any blowout situation. This was just a back and forth. You score, we score. Like, I didn't even write stats for this one because honestly, the key defining moment that if you sum up every segment leading up to it was the play where Tampa's up 17-13, I think it was at that point. Yeah, 17-13. So here's the deal. They're driving. They're making it good. Snaps the ball. Baker Mayfield, right? They're up 4 points. They're want more points, right? Let's put the game away, boys. McMillan was already looking far. Like, he was already looking his angle to make his cut. He just expected the ball to get into his arms, dude, but it bounced off, like, right in here. And Baker, I think he was looking for the defenders, right? Like, looking in that direction, goes to hand the ball off. It bounces off Buddy's arm. He's all still fucking running. It shoots back. Baker looks down. He feels the thing fucking catapult back over, and it was a lost cause at that point. Fumble, recovered, defense. Jaden Daniels leads his team down. I think it was McLaren who got the touchdown on it. It was a beautiful, in the middle, like just everyone split. Defender over here, defender down here, defender right here. McLaren right in the middle. It was beautiful. And for that wide receiver, like, I feel bad for like Mike Evans and company, but they did get their Super Bowl with Brady. Okay? And I don't think they're done yet. But in a thriller that then seen Tampa have to come back and they kick a field goal because they get stuffed on third down in the end zone or red zone area. They kick a field goal. They make it 20-20, right? So they're up 17-13, give up the fumble. They take the lead at 20-17, field goal 20-20, right? What does Washington do? Okay, we'll raise you. We're going to drive the field. We're going to run down the clock. And it was all but just timeout at the 2-second mark. Right up the hashtag Gonzalez. Actually, it was quite funny. It was right up the hashtag, except it smashed the corner of the fucking field goal post. But it bounced in, unlike in 2017, when that piece of shit Cody Parkey went to make his kick, and for the 7th time that season, that son of a bitch dinged it off the fucking field goal post and away. But Gonzalez knocked it on the corner and in. Like, and watching this guy go out, as you're watching the kicker walk out there too, right? He's going out there. You see him on the sideline before. He's trying to fix his shoe and stuff, right? He's trying to get all of it going. He thought it wasn't tight enough or something. And as I'm watching this guy trot out to the field, though, I swear to God, I thought he thought he was Justin Bieber or something. He kept like flicking his hair back like he's Fabio or some shit. I'm like, dude, let's put your fucking helmet on. Go look and focus on the post and line yourself up. Like, okay, the shoe being tight, I understand that. You want to crack that thing. Your helmet, that thing should have already been on and ready to go. What are you doing with your hair? Your hair is not that fucking long. You don't have bangs that go past your eyebrows and tickle your eyeballs, my man. Like, put a fucking do-rag on and shove your helmet on. Like, are you serious? You're not a fancy boy. You're the sixth kicker for the Commanders this season, as they are having troubles having a healthy kicker too. But so were the Chiefs and many other teams this season. So, hey, you need a kicker? Go grab one from the garbage heap. Let's see who we get this week, right? Like, I don't even know who these guys' names are anymore, it seems like. But anyway, that ends the game at a walloping 23-20. Now, let's just dive right into Monday night, okay? Los Angeles Rams, Minnesota Vikings. I think it was 31-9 was the final. I honestly, I just wrote down the defensive stats. LA Rams in a turmoil situation right now as their, whole city and everything else burns up in flames right now, which, shout out to the people of Los Angeles. I hope you're all being safe. I hate to hear that death toll rise. I think the other day I heard it around 23, something like that. Like, none of that's good. So our hearts go out to all of them. We've had lots of fires here in Alberta. We know well about that. It's never a good thing. So hearts out to you from us here at the Beardown Corner and everywhere else, Canadians alike. We don't like to see anyone hurt. It's not good. Doesn't matter what corner of the world. But they go into Arizona, Glendale, to play basically both an away game, really, because of the fires, which, yeah, not much more needs said there. But yeah, they come in and they played their asses off. They held Minnesota to 3 field goals, and hell, defense even scored a touchdown. Let's read this stuff. You had 1 interception, okay? You had a fumble recovery. Now, here's the thing. That fumble recovery went for a touchdown. This team had 9 sacks. 9. With 7 players, right? At least logging some category statistic. Whether it was a 0.5 of a sack or a fucking 2 sacker, a 1.5, whatever. Everyone had between 2 to 0.5. It's not like one guy went off for sit. No, like it was a team effort. Good work, Los Angeles. Like I'm watching this game as I'm doing my thing. It's off to the corner here, and then I look back, and then I'm doing my thing last night as I'm watching the game, and then I look back and I'm like, gee, like holy crap. I did not expect Minnesota to basically get their salad tossed, really. Like, that's more or less what it was. They couldn't get shit going. It was done so. They shut down Justin Jefferson. They took away, more or less, the run game. But Sam Darnold couldn't even play tipsy-toesy. Like, he just got thrown around. So, good work, LA. I like what I'm seeing there. That is not just like, oh, it's one guy. No, you're playing team football, right? Like, everyone believes in each other. So I can't wait to see what happens next week. So with that being said, and the conclusion of the scores, which it was 31-9 for the Los Angeles Rams last night to wrap up the Monday Nighter on wildcard weekend, it sets up next week, which brings us to some preview matches. Might as well just continue talking on those, right? We got Houston saddling up to go take on the number 1 seeded Chiefs. I like Houston's chances. They are playing football right now where if D'Amico Ryans, and based on what I seen this weekend, and if they continue this trend, he guaranteed said something to them in the week that was maybe something along the lines of, all right, guys, we're viewed as the underdogs. We're the AFC South Division winners, right? No team was even above 500, right? So, like, what do? You go in and whatever coaching adjustments you might have had to make, extra film you had to watch, guys you had to pep talk, right? Like Stroud, second year, another playoff victory. Like, okay, lead us. You're our leader, right? You're our leader on offense. Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, those boys stepped up. Defense stepped up. I think they have what it takes to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to go out and be like, I'm going to bet my house on it. But if I'm, in a pool of whatever, I'll take Houston this weekend. I like Houston. I do. I only picked the Chargers originally I was kind of on that bandwagon. I wasn't sure with what the hell they were going to do. But man, D'Amico Ryans is turning into that. He can manipulate his team in a way that he can get what he needs at the exact time. No different than Andy Reid in Kansas City. Kansas City won 15 goddamn games this year by one score or less, except one game. You know what game that was? And I don't count week 18, 38-0 blowout against the backups as one of your two losses, okay? I'm just leaving that in limbo, and you're 15-1. Okay? Your one loss came against the Buffalo Bills. You don't have to face them this week, but you got to face a pretty damn stingy Houston defense who just shut down Justin Herbert, who leading up to this point, like maybe he does have playoff issues. I don't know. Like the man threw more interceptions in one fucking game in the playoffs than he did the previous 18 weeks. So I don't know what to make of it. Maybe the playoffs just isn't for Justin Herbert. But leading up to that game, they got J.K. Dobbins back, rolling the pan. They got the wide receivers, a nice little triage, but they got shot down. So Houston defense, they're real. They're real. They might get outplayed, but they're real. And I think offensively, based on what we've seen in Kansas City already this year, I think Houston can go toe-to-toe if they need to. If they need to crank it up, they can go toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I like what this game is going to be this weekend. It's going to be a fun one. You got the other number one seed. This is the Saturday games, by the way. So Houston and Chiefs take and settle down at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 General Mountain. Okay, because I'm from the Rocky, Alberta, Canada. All right. So we got the other number one seed in the night game. That starts at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock General Mountain. Washington travels to Detroit. So based on your win this week, the way you've grinded it out, you prove you can fight in a football game. But I got, like, if this is me talking to Washington, like, good luck. Detroit is not to sleep on. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, it's Detroit. They had a really good year. Like, no. You don't understand. The way Detroit has played and won their games this year, the way they've come back in games, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions and they still won the goddamn game. My mind is boggled in the fact that offensively they're a juggernaut when they need to be or want to be, right? Or if they're not going to be offensively, like the defense, they lost Aiden Hutchinson fucking week 9, week 8, right? Early in the season. He still led the team in sacks by the end of week 18. They went and got Darius Smith to help kind of replace him. You got goddamn Alonzo fucking playing with a broken fucking arm. And he even said with the reporters this week after week 18 from last week, right? Before the bye week, he was like, "Oh man, it was sore. Thank God. Like you're resting him. Thank God they got that bye week, man. Who knows when that bitch is gonna break again, you know? Like, but you better have that motherfucker strapped to your, like, you're just walking around like this, right? Like, oh man, but Detroit's scary. I like Detroit. Honestly, if I'm making Super Bowl picks right now, I think it's going to be a Detroit-Buffalo Super Bowl, something along those lines. And honestly, either of those two teams can win, but just the way Dan Campbell has those guys, oh, it gives you shivers of watching greatness. All right, it gives you shivers of watching greatness. This is the kind of coach you want. He sets the tone, creates the culture, and everything flies up after that. So I like what Detroit's got cooking. Good luck, Washington. You're going to need it. You're in for a fight. Sorry, I know I rambled off a little on that one, but you're in for a fight. Los Angeles Rams, Philadelphia Eagles. They are your 1 o'clock General Mountain, 3 o'clock Eastern on the Sunday docket. And, yeah. Two great defenses, offenses that can do whatever when they need to. Get your popcorn ready, folks. They're going to shoot the crap out of each other in whatever regard. I don't know if that means, it's going to be a high-scoring game or a knock-em-sock-em kind of game, but there's not really much breakdown that I need to do for that. You pretty much heard it all from the previous recaps from earlier. Like, Rams defense, 9 sacks, intercept or fumble recovery, touchdown. Philadelphia knocking on 3 interceptions, rattling Green Bay. Like, you got 2 top-notch defenses, right? And you got 2 top-notch offenses. Just get your popcorn ready. You got the Ravens and Bills to finish off Sunday divisional week with a trip to Buffalo Orchard Park, where at, 6:30 Eastern, 4:30 General Mountain, you can watch them in a showdown of Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, James Cook. You go down the list. Okay? You go like these are some big fucking teams that are about to go head to head. And it ain't like a David Goliath. It's like 2 Goliaths about to smash heads as bulls entangle their horns. That's all I can say. It's that one's going to be one to watch. Go make sure you are sitting in your chair ready to go when that one starts. All right. Moving along. A little bit of around the league, but more towards the head coaching carousel going on. I think that's how we're going to slowly move towards the end here. So Khalil Mack, recently after the playoff loss, discussions with reporters asking retirement question already. So let's get into that. Khalil Mack in that discussions went on to say that with Justin Herbert at quarterback, the whole group of offense and everyone else that they got, you always have a chance to win. Jim Harbaugh coaching there now, like he feels they still have a shot to go for a Super Bowl next year, right? But he's 34. He's without a contract, which whatever, just sign a veteran minimum, whatever, right? If you're having fun, they'll play you. They know how to handle you, but it's, do you want to play? He's at a point in his life where he's, not had a lot of playoff success. Played for multiple teams. I don't know, Mac. I loved you when you're in Chicago, man. Like, I miss you, but it was everything moves in the direction it does, right? So I don't know. I feel for Khalil Mack. I wish he would have got a little bit more in his career because, man, he was a beast. He was a beast of a rusher. So I don't know. Whatever you pursue, my man, good luck to you, Khalil, because you deserve it. You do deserve a run at a shot and a title. Maybe he goes somewhere else next year. No, there's enough contenders out there. Ravens get knocked out this weekend. Maybe they need an edge rusher. Get to the quarterback a lot more. In other news, Mike McCarthy is officially out as the Dallas Cowboys head coach as Jerry Jones lets his contract expire all the way to the beginning of this last week where it was due to. Basically, I talk about this. First off, I don't want him as our head coach in Chicago. You can go wherever the fuck you want. You're just not coming to Chicago. Why the Bears are even doing this interview? They did an interview with him yesterday. Whatever. I don't care. They just don't hire goddamn McCarthy, man. I'll take another defensive coordinator before I take fucking Mike McCarthy. I hope that says a lot. Because, man, I've been screaming for an offensive coordinator for the Bears for a while now. For a head coach. But that's okay. That's okay. Because Mike McCarthy's out. And already on the question mark carousel of coaching, Jerry Jones has reached out to Deion Sanders. Okay, I'm fine with that. Former Cowboy, he's coached college football for a few years. Yeah, he would like to come back to the NFL to coach his sons is kind of the best case scenario he kind of put it. But I don't think he'll get the opportunity like that. But I could see him maybe like, hey, both my sons aren't here at Colorado no more. I'm going to maybe just go see what it's like in Dallas again. Be the head coach. Let's see what we can do here, boys. Right? He's going to try and bring a little bit of prime time to some Dallas football. Because Troy Aikman's already come out and said it's not the most ideal situation for anyone. Like, it's not a coveted head coaching position. They're like, you got an expensive quarterback and a guy who can't get you over the hump. You got CeeDee Lamb being the diva he is. You got to sign Parsons again. Those are just 3 goddamn players of possibly 54. So whatever. I don't know. Good luck, Dallas. Dallas now needs a head coach. They're part of the carousel. To round up the remaining carousel jobs, you have the Bears, obviously. You have the Jaguars, Raiders. You have the Saints and the Jets. So the Jets, you know what? I've talked enough of the Jets this season. Long story short, they got a bunch of crap they got to fix. I have no idea what the hell they're going to do. Jacksonville has a pretty nice little setup of receivers and offensive weapons and all of that. So I feel they can, be a nice little, we can make something here, right? You're in Florida, right? Like nice weather. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see who gets that one. Saints. The Saints and them New Orleans. All right. So when it comes, first off, shout out to my Louisiana boys. We all know that. Yeah. It's they need, I think they need a bit of a culture setter. I know that's easier said than done when it's like, this is who we're hiring, but who can actually mold? Because you got Derek Carr, you got Kamara, you got receivers that just went on injury this year. Like, it was just a riddled season, right? You have the pieces. Just get the guy to connect it all, and I'm sure you'll be fine. Go get some offensive guy. Maybe not a Ben Johnson. I think he's going elsewhere. Hopefully the Bears. But yeah, I see the Saints being a nice little attractive place. You got the Raiders. Who doesn't love them some Raider Nation? Right, Las Vegas? Hey, formerly Oakland. Hell, you could even go back to Los Angeles for that matter. I'm sure the whole California's Raider Nation. Jesus. So, they moved around so often throughout their entity as a franchise, right? But, hey, you know what? It's all good. I like the Raiders. I like what they were doing this year. There's been reports of Brady trying to reach back out to Belichick, but I don't see that happen. I think Belichick Belichick is good where he's at the university. He's excited. I think personally he probably did it maybe from the aspect of wanting to be there to, see his grandkids maybe. Maybe they're attending that university. He already has it in his clause that, his family's going to be working with him. So, I don't know who the Raiders are going to get. But I do know Tom Brady, minority owner of the Raiders, is heading part of that search, though. Now, one head coaching spot has already been hired, though. The New England Patriots have already replaced Gerard Mayo with Mike Vrabel. Ladies and gentlemen, another former linebacker who played for the Patriots during parts of their dynasty is coming back as the head coach. I like Mike Vrabel. Like, honestly, if we don't get Ben Johnson, I would have loved Mike Vrabel. He is a culture setter. And he's going to come in, and it might not be hot right away. Or, I don't know. New England, you have some hope. Because the way this man came out and just... I loved it. I loved the article I read on it. He just, to sum it up, basically, everyone's going to have to fight and work for their job. And if you don't, then you won't have a job. And they're going to develop Drake May because he's like their franchise quarterback. But hey, if May don't play up to standards, man, I'll say right now, I feel like Vrabel would bench him. He don't give a shit. Who's playing for me? Who's playing for the team? Not yourself. That's the Mike Vrabel way. So yeah, that kind of gives us a little bit of a round the league. The only other one I'd possibly discuss a little bit would be Mike Tomlin in Steeler Nation. Where do you go after this week? Since we're on the topic of head coaches, where do you go if you're the Steelers? Now, tight end Pat Fairmouth came out this week after the loss and basically said, if it weren't for Tomlin, we would not have got to where we were. And I agree with that. Tomlin is an excellent head coach. If the Steelers get rid of him, you're making the single most worst mistake you probably could. Because really... I don't feel you have a culture-setting coach like a Mike Tomlin available in the wings, and you sure as hell ain't going to find him when you have a bunch of these other hungry teams. You don't even have a goddamn quarterback. Russell Wilson, he wants to come back, but who wouldn't when you're 36 and you've made all your stuff at this point? I think if he is wanting to actually play football, yeah, he could, but he ain't going to get paid like he thinks he's worth. I'm sorry, but he has come off a little bit. I know it's a team game, but you still lost. I think it was your last 6 or something like that of 7. I don't know. He started out 5-1 and then finished 1-5. He went 6 for 6 for the season. So I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're Steeler Nation. You got a defense, running backs, wide receiver. Go get a quarterback again, I guess. Maybe an Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? I already seen a thing already posting about that. Even the day after me and a buddy were talking about it. I was like, maybe Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, right? He won't be in New York next year. Let's just be honest. He won't be in New York. He's done. He's gone. Garrett Wilson's already asked for a trade if he comes back as a quarterback. New York's in shambles. Leave. But the only thing, though, is how is the egos of Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin going to play out? Who knows? But we will learn in the future as events unfold into the NFL offseason after the Super Bowl. But for now, we're still in the NFL playoffs, baby. So let's go. So if you are tuning in, we want to say thank you for myself here at the Beardown Corner, myself, Sergeant Cornholio, for tuning in and taking and giving me and us your time. And I hope you had fun with us here today, because I know I have. And as always, take care, be safe, and we'll catch you in the future episodes of the Beardown Corner and as we watch the NFL playoffs unfold.